Have you ever reached a moment so dark, so low, that you wondered if anything good could ever come from it? What if that very place, your rock bottom, was exactly where God planned to begin the greatest chapter of your life? This is the story of Elijah Davis, a man who lost everything and found something far greater: the breaking. Elijah Davis was once a name people respected in his community. A successful small business owner, a loving father, and a dedicated church member. He was the man everyone turned to for advice, a pillar of strength and faith. But one year, a series of unexpected tragedies turned his world upside down. His mother, who raised him alone, passed away suddenly. Just weeks later, his business was burned to the ground in an electrical fire. Insurance delays and debt piled up. Then came the final blow. His wife of 15 years walked out with their 2 children, overwhelmed by the pressure and unable to cope. Within 3 months, Elijah went from a respected man to a broken soul living out of his car, the abandoned lot. It was a cold December night. Elijah sat in the driver's seat of his battered car, parked in an abandoned lot on the outskirts of town. He had no food, no money, and worst of all, no hope. "God, where are you?" he cried out. His voice echoed in the emptiness. He pounded the steering wheel until his hands hurt. "I served you. I gave everything. Why me?" But there was only silence, or so he thought. The still, small voice, that night, shivering and crying himself to sleep. Elijah had a dream. In it, he was walking through a desert, lost and exhausted. Suddenly, a figure clothed in white appeared and offered him water. When Elijah drank it, his surroundings changed. The desert bloomed with life. He heard a voice say, "Your wilderness is not your end, but your beginning. I have not abandoned you. I am with you." Elijah woke up sobbing. It was the first time in weeks he had felt anything but despair. He didn't fully understand the dream, but it planted a seed, the shelter. The next morning, Elijah stumbled into a local mission center. A volunteer named Maria greeted him with kindness. She offered him food, a warm bed, and a listening ear. As Elijah shared his story, Maria didn't flinch. She simply said, "God specializes in starting at our lowest points." Those words struck a chord. Over the next few weeks, Elijah began volunteering at the shelter, helping with small tasks. Cleaning floors, serving meals, talking with other men who had lost everything. Slowly, something began to stir in him, rebuilding from rubble. One day, the shelter director asked Elijah to lead a morning devotional. He hesitated. He hadn't touched a Bible in months. But he agreed. He spoke from Psalm 34:18. "The Lord is close to the broken-hearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." To his surprise, men approached him after, thanking him, some with tears in their eyes. Elijah realized something profound. His pain had given him a voice, a new purpose. He began to teach weekly devotionals, drawing from his personal journey. His story became a light for others in darkness. Divine connections. Through the shelter, Elijah met Pastor Raymond, who invited him to speak at a community outreach event. There, he shared his full testimony, from success to brokenness to hope. That night, a man in the audience who owned a construction company offered Elijah a job. Another man offered to help with housing. Doors began opening, not all at once, but steadily. And with each step, Elijah kept saying, "God, I don't know why you allowed this, but I trust you to use it." The vision restored. Elijah didn't try to rebuild his old life. Instead, he followed God's leading towards something new. He enrolled in night classes to study counseling. He launched a support group for men dealing with loss and identity crises. And within 2 years, he founded a non-profit, From the Ashes, focused on helping people recover emotionally and spiritually from trauma. His story began circulating online. Churches invited him to speak. He published a book, but none of it made him proud. It made him humble, because he knew it all started in that abandoned parking lot. A new man, same God. 3 years after hitting rock bottom, Elijah stood before a crowd of 500 at a conference. Tears welled in his eyes as he shared the phrase that had become his life motto. "My lowest point was God's starting point." He paused and looked around. If you're in that place right now, confused, broken, tired, I want you to know, God isn't finished with you. In fact, he may be just getting started. Beauty from ashes, Elijah Davis lost everything the world said was important. But in losing it, he found what truly mattered. God didn't restore Elijah's old life. He gave him a new one, rooted not in comfort, but in calling. And that is often how God works. He takes our mess and makes it a message. He turns our test into a testimony. He does not waste our pain. Are you at your lowest point? Are you questioning if God is even there? Hold on. Your lowest point might just be God's starting point. Share this story with someone who needs hope today. Leave a comment below if you've ever experienced God lifting you up when you were down. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more inspiring stories of redemption, faith, and fresh starts. Because God is still writing stories, and yours isn't over yet.